Hey everybody, I wanted to get in touch and talk a little bit about why there's been such a lack of updates on the channel this month, as well as why there may continue to be a lack of updates for the month of May as well. I should say this past month, April. So the reason, there are a few reasons for that, we'll get into them. The first and foremost, though, is that I'm working on the new season of Dark Therapy. If you're new to the channel, and I actually have had a positive uptick in subscribers recently, if you're new to the channel, this channel for 10 years has been kind of a all-purpose platform for me to share my my thoughts, my ideas, and my creative output. So I do a lot of social and political commentary, but I also do my fiction and my music and that kind of thing as well. And Dark Therapy is a series, an anthology series of short stories, very much in the vein of my favorite writers, so people like Harlan Ellison and H.P. Lovecraft and Philip K. Dick and that sort of thing. And if you like The Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and Black Mirror and all of that, then, you know, the anthology series like that, then this is very much for you. The first season of Dark Therapy is currently on the channel and available to watch as a playlist. I will be launching the second season very soon in June, and what I'm doing is I'm writing all of the stories now so that I won't be like burning the midnight oil the night before a new episode is supposed to go up. They will all the videos will be completed, done, cut, print, uploaded, and scheduled for release, and so I don't even have to think about it. And so in doing that, I want to call attention to my Patreon, because my goal has been to get up to $100 per video. But the thing I want to emphasize, though, is that if all of the I'm doing 12 Dark Therapy stories, and it's reasonable to think that if these stories were published in magazines, I could get paid about $300 per story. That would be about 3 cents a word. You know, which would be ultimately for all 12 stories about, say, $3,600. So I'm not expecting to do those numbers yet as such. You know, I want to grow this into something, you know, again, another example is creepypasta. You know, if you like creepypasta, then you'll like Dark Therapy. I want to grow this into a brand like that, you know, so I want to grow it over time and make it something that people will really, you know, really want to support with their contributions, with their donation dollars and that kind of thing. I would like to get up to $100 per video right now, and that would be a huge benefit for me and allow me to start doing more cool stuff for the channel. So, Dark Therapy is one of the main things. Then the other thing that I've been working on a lot has been The Aftermath. And The Aftermath is my new concept album, solo album that I'm working on. To the Leaving Babylon fans out there, Leaving Babylon is the metal band I play in here in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area. And to those fans out there, yes, we are still working on the new album. That is coming up. But the Aftermath is a solo album that I'm working on. And this is, like the title suggests, it's kind of it's a concept album that tells a narrative about, you know, kind of the personal journey that I have been on, and you know, kind of the experiences and recovering from those experiences that I went through in kind of you know, professional and personal setbacks in recent memory. And that said, it's not like a smarmy self-help thing. It's very much like again, just digging into the dark underbelly of my thoughts, my psyche, and really going into some dark places within, and kind of hopefully coming back with something positive. And I think that's the great thing about art in general, is that, you know, you can take the horrible things that happen to you in life, and if you use them to create something that you are genuinely proud of, then you can say it was worth it. There's my, you know, I've come full circle on this issue, whatever it was. Or turned 180, however you want to look at it. Because I've used it to create something that I'm ultimately proud of. And The Aftermath is very much that. It is it's something. Musically, it will appeal to fans of progressive rock and progressive metal. It's a fairly dark album, so King Crimson and Tool are kind of going to be big influences on it. And certainly there's a narrative structure. It's not like a story album like Operation Mindcrime or Scenes from a Memory or something like that, where there's characters and a script, but it follows a narrative like what you would hear on Dark Side of the Moon, kind of like what you might hear on something like Brain Salad Surgery, maybe A Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, that kind of thing. Like these kind of more vague narratives like that. And so I think it's something that will really connect with a lot of people. And I've been very fortunate that a lot of my friends in the Atlanta music scene have been willing to step up and help me with this record. That said, it's not happening for free. I will be putting this album out myself. I'll be funding it myself, whether or not I get an uptick in Patreon dollars. But it is costing me some money to get everything done. Right now, my budget has been, either spent or committed to spending about $400 all totaled. And if anyone wants to step up and help with the crowdfunding on that, I'll be happy to furnish an itemized list of everything that I'm spending money on to you. But that said, anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Making the aftermath and taking different periods in my life and turning them into music that I can go back and listen to and myself enjoy and be proud of is a very transcendental thing, and that's one of the ultimate great gifts that art gives us. Now, last but not least, I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of the channel as far as political commentary, content, that kind of thing. I've gotten back into discussions of certain social and political issues that are interesting and important to me, and I've been actually very pleased with the response. A good example of that was the Amy Schumer video, which got a few thousand views, and a lot of comments and a lot of people writing in, and virtually nobody writing in and saying, oh, well, you just hate Amy Schumer because she's a woman that's successful. I don't think, I honestly, I may have gotten like one or two comments in that vein. I did not get very many out of all of the many people who wrote in to say things. Everybody on either side of the discussion was very constructive, and I think I attribute that to a few things. One, I think I've gone out of my way to appear more thoughtful in all of my videos. In the past, some videos I've been thoughtful and articulate on, and other times I've just been doing kind of an insult comic thing. And ultimately, that latter thing is what you become known for, because that's what sticks in people's craw, and that's what they want. What they want to, they get bitter and angry over that, and that's what they want to remember you for. So I was more thoughtful and more articulate in that video, and so I would like to think that more people were willing to accept and understand that I'm criticizing Amy Schumer and the way Amy Schumer handles herself as a woman, the way she portrays womanhood, and ultimately that she's just a very cheap one-trick pony hack comic. That those are the issues that I'm addressing. I'm not suggesting at all that women shouldn't be doing comedy or anything like that. And I think more and more people are realizing that this sort of implication policing is malarkey. And the this thing of the people who say what I call the "oh, I get it" crowd. The people who say, if you say, for example, the wage gap is a myth, women are not paid 75 cents on the dollar to every dollar that men are paid, and they turn around and say, oh, I get it, you're saying that women shouldn't be paid. It's like, no, I'm saying that's not the case. They're paid equally. This is good. We should be happy about this. And they say, no, whatever, you just want women to blah, 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 and it's not about you, dude, bro. All of this stuff. We see this all across the board. It's people who, if you say, the Bible contains all of these contradictions and inaccuracies and all of these implausible claims and all of this, they say, oh, I get it. You just want to live a debauched, sinful lifestyle and never have to be, never have to be responsible for your actions, blah, blah, blah. No. That attitude, I think we're finally reaching a point as a people, as a species, where maybe that point, maybe that has finally, that attitude that, oh, I know, oh, I get it, I know what you're really saying, I'm going to fight the underlying implication of what you're saying rather than your actual arguments. I think we're getting to a point where we're actually getting beyond that, and amazingly, I think it's because Donald Trump is president. Now, I don't think that there's anything directly good about Donald Trump being president. Simba says hi. Anyway, so that, all that being said, I think that what's happened with Donald Trump, he has hurt the cause of social justice warriors. And if you're just coming to the channel, I identify as a left libertarian, kind of a liberalitarian. I'm one of the liberals, or someone who started out as a flaming liberal and became gradually disaffected with the left because of, one, the poor economics, and two, the rise of the social justice left, which is just abject insanity. It's the, the left-wing version of the Tea Party and all of that. And the thing is, I have railed so heavily against social justice warriors and that kind of thing, but ultimately, I think Donald Trump has kind of effectively shut them down in a way, not because of anything he has done in that direct regard. We hear all of these things about, oh, he's going to drain the swamp, and he's going to, he's going to change Washington. He's going to be a game changer. He's going to drain the swamp. He's going to do all of these things. All the buzzwords that Ben Garrison quietly mutters to himself while he masturbates. All of those things. It's not that he's done any of that. It's not that he's had any direct impact or influence. What has happened is that he is a concrete, and social justice warriors fight abstract ideas. There's a reason why the internet was such a huge boon to social justice warriors, why they could say they were being attacked by thousands of trolls on the internet that were ruining their lives and all this stuff, because they deal with abstractions. They are fighting the patriarchy the same way Alex Jones is fighting the Illuminati. This just vague, undefined force that pervades our society and pervades our lives and tries to, is somehow controlling us whether we realize it or not. This is what the social justice left deals with, is these abstracts. Conservatives have their own abstracts that they rail against. The war on terror, the war on drugs, all of that. What are the things that the social justice left rails against? They rail against immature, animalistic attitudes towards women, pervasive corporate imperialism, that kind of thing, class inequality, structural inequality and class structure, that kind of thing. All of these abstracts that they rail against, Trump represents a concrete version of all of that. When we rail against Trump, when we fight against Trump, well, now we're fighting against something concrete. And this is the thing that social justice warriors have never been able to provide people with, really. They've never really been able to. Sure, individual people can say, well, this person wronged me, this person wronged me, but they can't point to something objective and say, this is the problem. Rather, they have to point to these vague things. That's why media representations become such a hot topic. And so what happens, I think, is that people now, people like myself, who would rail against that kind of thing, but can't find any concretes in the social justice milieu, now have a concrete in the form of Donald Trump. And so, consequently, it's much, much easier to confront these problems as a society in fighting Donald Trump, because you don't need special education to fight Donald Trump. You don't need 4 years of bullshit social studies degrees and whatnot from activist professors and all of this crap to see why Donald Trump's a problem, to fight against Donald Trump, that sort of thing. You don't have to be indoctrinated into a religious worldview to fight Donald Trump. So consequently, the social justice warriors become irrelevant. They become irrelevant, they become unimportant, because they just are not needed. They are so extreme that it's just not required or not necessary to deal with this problem. And so I see things going forward in a very positive direction. I've been thinking about doing a video in response to a video I saw by Stefan Molyneux. He's not somebody that I particularly like. I will grant that he is much more pleasant than a lot of internet commentators. That said, he has a little bit of just that, like, Jim Jones almost cult leader vibe to him in a way, and the whole, like, free domain radio, that logo with people holding hands, it just feels culty to me. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying he's actually operating a cult. I'm just saying it's his vibe. It's his personality. But anyway, there's a very specific video of his I want to respond to that I think would be shed a lot of light on Donald Trump, or rather on the perspectives that people have in supporting Donald Trump that I think needs to be addressed. But the other thing that I hope I can do with this channel is get people to stop and realize that, yes, we are being lied to. The right is lying to us. The left is lying to us. We've got to stop pretending that one side or the other has cornered the market on truth. We have to look at the information as it's presented and come to the best objective understanding of the situation that we possibly can. That said, I do believe, based on what I've seen, that Donald Trump is a flatline, incompetent president, is a pathetic president. So, anyway, that's me getting off on too much of a political rant. I just wanted to give you some perspective. Thank you for your time. Please donate to the Patreon if it's within your means. And I look forward to bringing you Dark Therapy, The Aftermath, more installments of Book Talk, that kind of thing. I don't think I said, I don't know if I spoke about Book Talk earlier or not. Stefan, we didn't do a book talk this month because Stefan and I have been doing 4321 by Paul Auster, which, as you can see, is an absolute doorstop of a book, so it's taking us longer than we expected. The next book we do, however, will be Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I'd like to try to do, and he's one of the best, forget about best young adult science fiction writers, one of the best science fiction writers I've come across in a long time. I would like to do both of these books in May if it's possible. That said, all of my free time is devoted mainly right now to Dark Therapy and The Aftermath. Anyway, thank you for your time, and take care. I look forward to bringing you new content.